Welcome, friends and collectors. You have joined me for another all-new edition of Diecast Emporium Military Mondays, brought to you by smallscalehobbies.com. Be sure to check them out at the website you see in front of you, smallscalehobbies.com. They have everything from models dating before the start of World War I all the way to stuff you see around the world today. So if you're into 187 scale models, be sure to check them out. All right, in today's episode of Diecast Emporium Military Mondays, we are going to be learning and taking a look at a 187 scale resin kit model of the M1142 or 1142 TFFT, the Tactical Firefighting Truck. So this is a vehicle that is pretty much used by every branch of the U.S. Armed Services. But what is the 1142? Well, the M1142 is a combination vehicle of an oshkosh HEMTT chassis paired with a commercial Pierce firefighting body with several modifications for the U.S. military, of course. So the TFFT is a ready and able vehicle to deploy in nearly any terrain or weather to combat many different types of emergencies and fires, including woodland fires, structural fires, tactical vehicle fires, and most often military aircraft crashes and fires. One of the coolest things about this truck is that it carries a 2,500-gallon water tank as well as a Darley 500 GPM pump. The truck was first introduced back in 2005, and it has seen extensive service all around the world since then, including Iraq, Afghanistan, and Syria. Okay, let's turn our attention now to the model and the box. Let's take a look at the box first. This is a Trident resin kit, so it doesn't come built. You do have to assemble and build it. And I can't emphasize this enough. I know I try to say this every time I do a Trident model review on this channel. Trident models, specifically the resin kits, are very, very difficult. They're very complicated. It's very easy to screw something up or break something. So I would not recommend these to a beginner in the military hobby. Start out with an ALSA kit or even a mini tank kit and kind of get your feet wet there before you go out and get a Trident kit. Number one, they're usually pretty expensive. And again, I can't emphasize this enough. It's very easy to break something and then you're done. So they can be very frustrating, and the directions are not very straightforward either. But anyway, this is the box. It does have a picture. The item number for this, it's hidden back here, but it's 87150 if you want to look this up on the website. And it does have a little insert picture of the real truck. You can see the bag of parts too. That's the box. Let's quickly take a look at the instructions, or really lack thereof. We'll take a look at the back first, because this is where you see your parts list first, which is odd. Normally that is on the front. And there's step 3. And on the other side, obviously, step 1 and step 2. So again, it's not even really a step-by-step. So if you're a step-by-step kind of person, again, these are not great. And again, here's the other side. You can see the support spruces on here and here, for example, just to name 2. That's another thing you have to be wary of. Some people will tell you that, put them in a bowl of warm water and the parts will fall away a little bit better. To me, in my experience, that's never worked. It's never been very helpful. So what I like to use is a Dremel. That way you can get up close without damaging the actual parts of the spruce when you go and try and cut it away with a pair of spruce cutters, for example. So there you go. Just a option for you, and based on my personal experience. Okay, it's been 4 minutes and we haven't even seen the model yet, so let's bring him in. There is our model completed. Now, I honestly like this model a lot. I think it turned out pretty well for what I had to deal with. Couple nitpicky things I want to get out of the way first. There are a couple things that I am not happy with that didn't turn out great. Number one, this kit was missing a couple things. So we'll bring in my Sharpie that's standing in for my pointer, which is on strike. So there are 2 holes here, which hopefully you can see on the back part of the door, and those are for a grab rail. Well, both of those grab rails were not in my kit. They were missing. But probably the bigger noticeable thing is the spare tire. So this spare tire is an extra I had from a 3D kit that I bought, and it's not the same, obviously. It is from an Oshkosh, but it's from an Oshkosh 3D printed kit, and from Baby Bank on eBay, another guy that I would highly recommend buying some stuff for. Anyway, so the kit is supposed to come with 9 wheels. Mine only came with 8, obviously, 4 on each side. And the 9th is supposed to be the spare tire to go on the spare tire cover. So, as a suitable workaround, I used the spare tire from the 3D print, but you can tell that it's a little bit too big and not exactly the same center hub style. But you know what? It works. It is what it is. So those are the 2 things I wanted to point out, which I'm not completely happy about. That being said, it is what it is, and it looks pretty darn good. Paints I used on this kit. Tamiya NATO Green is what I used primarily for the color on here, which again turned out pretty good. I'm happy with that. Obviously, I primed it in Tamiya Gray primer first. On these military models, I don't typically use finishing gloss because I don't like them to look shiny or finished. Because if you look at military models, they're not shiny or finished, or they look like this. They look like they've just been sprayed, and that's it. That's all you get. Wheels, also, the wheels come separated, so you can paint the hubs and then put the rubber on, but I actually went over the rubber in Tamiya black rubber paint, which again looks good. And then the detail pieces, such as the ladder, I painted those with a chrome paint pen, and I painted the mirrors as well in a chrome paint pen. The lights that you see on the truck, so here, and then the turn indicators, as well as the headlights, and then the large red light bar at the front. Those are paint pens that I painted those with, and again, I think they turned out pretty darn good. Now, the kit does have some imperfections on it. Specifically, the way that the cab fits, it's a little bit lopsided, and you really can't notice that unless it's facing dead on. But other than that, I think it looks pretty good. There are 2 nozzles at the front, so whether you're spraying water or foam, depending on what emergency you're going to, it looks pretty good. You have ladders, like access ladders, on the back, or on the side, I should say. Getting ahead of myself. And on the back, you have a little ladder here, as well as a hitch, and some other lines going to your large tank in the back. So, that will conclude my review of the Trident Miniatures M1142 TFFT, or the Tactical Firefighting Truck. It really is an awesome 187 scale resin model. Once it's finished, it looks really good, particularly if you collect vehicles, military vehicles, in 187 scale. If you wanted to make a little mini diorama, no, the plane I'm about to show you is not exactly 187 scale, but it's one of the only planes I have in my collection. This is an A-10 Warthog, and which is a close support aircraft, ground detect aircraft. So you can have an aircraft that's on fire and have this responding to it. Now, if I really wanted to go for the ultimate realism, I would get a model of an Osprey, which is everyone's favorite land dart. They crash constantly, if you didn't get that reference. But you got to use what you have. So I had an A-10 from childhood, and there you go. You have a small display. If you want to purchase this model, click on the link in the video's description. Again, if you want to purchase this model, click on the video's description in this video. So hopefully that will be as straightforward as I could possibly be, because I've been getting inundated with messages on people asking where I can purchase models seen in my video, when that answer is clearly in the video and in the video's description. So there you go. Thank you all so much for watching. Until next time, take care, be safe, and be well. I will see you in the next review.